Hello, book lovers! Today we are going to have a podcast summary of the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a really amazing book that actually helped me personally in my placement days. Hope you like it too.
Okay, let's dive right in today with a story that, honestly, it sounds almost unbelievable. It's about transformation, but built on the smallest possible changes.
You're talking about British cycling, right?
Exactly. Team Sky, British cycling, an amazing turnaround.
It really is. And, to really get it, you have to understand just how bad things were before.
Yeah, what was the baseline?
Oh, it was rough. Before around 2008, they'd had almost a century of, let's just say, mediocrity.
A century, wow.
Yeah, they'd won only a single gold medal at the Olympics since 1908. Think about that.
That's quite a track record.
And it gets worse. Their reputation was so poor, one of the top European bike manufacturers actually refused to sell them bikes.
No way. Why?
They were afraid it would damage their brand if the British team was seen using their gear. Seriously, they saw them as a liability.
Ouch. Okay, so definitely starting from a low point. What changed?
Well, the catalyst was hiring Dave Brailsford as performance director back in 2002.
Yeah, and he brought in a new idea.
He did, a strategy he called the aggregation of marginal gains.
Marginal gains. Sounds small.
That's the point. Forget huge breakthroughs. He said, let's find a tiny, just 1% improvement in absolutely everything we do.
Everything? Like what?
Well, yeah, the obvious stuff first.
Yeah.
Aerodynamics, training plans, redesigned bike seats, that kind of thing. Even using rubbing alcohol on the tires for better grip.
Okay, that makes sense. Standard sports science, maybe?
To a point. But then they went, well, further. Much further.
How so?
Get this. They hired a surgeon.
A surgeon for injuries?
Nope. To teach the riders the absolute best way to wash their hands. Just to cut down on colds and infections.
Okay, that's dedication.
And they didn't stop there. They tested different massage gels for muscle recovery. They even determined the best type of pillow and mattress for each rider to optimize sleep. Flew them in specially.
Custom pillows, wow.
But the one that always gets me is the team truck. The inside of the mechanic's truck.
What about it?
They painted it brilliant white.
White.
Why?
White for cleanliness.
Exactly. So they could spot even the tiniest speck of dust. Dust that could potentially get into the bike components and degrade performance, even slightly.
That is meticulous, almost obsessive.
Obsessive about the 1%. And the results. They didn't just add up, they compounded massively.
So what happened?
Just 5 years later, Beijing Olympics, 2008, the team absolutely dominated. They won 60% of the gold medals available in track cycling. 60%.
From nearly nothing 5 years earlier.
Precisely. And then they went on to win the Tour de France 5 times in 6 years between 2012 and 2017.
Incredible. So that tiny 1% focus,
Yeah.
it actually works on a massive scale.
It's the core lesson, really. Huge change doesn't always need huge dramatic action. What it needs is a system, a powerful system built on those small, consistent improvements.
And that brings us to the framework we're exploring today, right? From the book Atomic Habits.
Exactly. That's where this idea is really codified. Atomic meaning, extremely small amount, the irreducible unit of something bigger.
Like an atom is the basic unit of matter.
Right. And the key insight is that successful people, or teams like British Cycling, don't necessarily have better goals than unsuccessful ones. Everyone wants to win the Tour de France, right?
Sure, the goal is the same.
The difference is the system of continuous, tiny improvements. That's what separates them.
So it shifts the focus away from the big, distant dream and onto the small things you do every single day.
But to build that system, you need to understand how habits actually form in the first place. What's going on in the brain?
Okay, let's get into the mechanics.
Well, it boils down to a basic neurological feedback loop. It's based on research going way back, Thorndike's law of effect, essentially. Behaviors followed by satisfying consequences tend to be repeated.
Makes sense. Rewarded behavior gets repeated.
And it runs in a 4-step cycle. Cue,
Exciting.
craving, response, reward.
Cue, craving, response, reward. Okay, break that down. The cue is the trigger.
Yeah, the cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior, like seeing your phone light up.
Okay, then the craving, is that the motivation?
That's the motivational force. It's not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. You don't crave smoking a cigarette, you crave the feeling of relief it provides.
Ah, okay, so the cue triggers a craving for a particular feeling or state.
Exactly, which then drives the response, the actual habit you perform, smoking the cigarette, checking the phone.
And finally, the reward.
Which is the end goal. It satisfies the craving, the relief, the bit of information, and it teaches your brain which actions are worth remembering for the future. Cue, craving, response, reward. That loop is running constantly.
That seems pretty straightforward. So why is it so hard then? Why do so many of us try to build good habits like, say, eating healthier, maybe exercising more, but we just fail? We slide back.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And often it's because we're trying to change the wrong thing.
The wrong thing. What do you mean?
Think of behavior change in 3 layers, like an onion. The outer layer is changing your outcomes, losing weight, publishing a book.
Okay, the results.
The middle layer is changing your process, implementing a new routine at the gym, following a diet plan.
The actions.
Right. But the deepest layer, the core, is changing your identity, changing your beliefs about yourself, who you are.
So we focus on the what or the how, but not the who.
Precisely. We set outcome goals. I want to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Or process goals. I'll go to the gym 3 times a week. But true, lasting change is identity-based. The goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner.
When the habit becomes part of who you believe you are,
That's when it sticks. Because now, the behavior isn't something you do, it's something that reinforces who you are.
can you give an example of that where the identity shift really made the difference?
Yeah, there's a great story about someone who used to bite their fingernails constantly. Tried everything, couldn't stop.
Relatable for some, I'm sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But the change happened after they got their first professional manicure. The manicurist mentioned offhand, "Oh, you actually have really nice, healthy nails."
Just a small comment like that.
It flipped a switch. Suddenly, they started seeing their nails differently. They felt, well, proud of them. Their identity shifted. They weren't a nail biter anymore. They were someone who takes care of their nice nails.
So the desire to bite them just faded because it conflicted with the new identity.
Exactly. It wasn't about willpower. It was about acting in alignment with who they now believe themselves to be. The action of not biting reinforced the identity.
That's powerful. So a practical tip here would be to ask yourself, what would a healthy person do right now? Or what would a productive writer do?
Yes. Use that desired identity as your guide. Let it shape your small choices.
Okay, so identity is key. But assuming we know who we want to become, we still need to actually do the thing. Let's talk about the first law. Make it obvious. How do we make the cue unmissable?
Because often when we say we lack motivation, what we really lack is clarity, right? We're vague about when and where the action should happen.
I should exercise more. Very vague.
Exactly. The best antidote is what's called an implementation intention. It's super simple but incredibly effective.
What is it?
You just make a specific plan beforehand for when and where you'll perform the new habit. The format is, when situation X arises, I will perform response Y.
So instead of I'll exercise more, it's when my lunch break starts at 12:30 p.m. on Tuesday, I will go for a 20-minute walk around the block.
Perfect. That specificity makes all the difference. There was a study on exercise. One group got a motivational talk, another got the talk and filled out that sentence. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day at time and place.
And what happened?
The group that made the specific plan, 91% of them exercised at least once a week. That was more than double the rate of the other groups, even the motivated ones.
Wow, just writing it down was specific.
Clarity is power. Another great strategy is habit stacking.
Habit stacking, linking habits together.
Exactly. You leverage a habit you already do automatically without thinking, and use it as the cue for the new habit you want to build.
Okay, how does that work?
The formula is, after current habit, I mood habit.
So, after I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. Or after I pour my morning coffee, I will meditate for 60 seconds.
Precisely. You're anchoring the new desired behavior to something that's already firmly rooted. It creates a natural chain reaction.
Makes it harder to forget, I guess.
And one more technique for making cues obvious, or maybe making bad cues obvious, is pointing and calling.
Pointing and calling sounds unusual.
It comes from the Japanese railway system.
Yeah.
To reduce errors, operators physically point at signals and call out their status aloud. Signal is green. Speed check, 75.
Why do they do that?
It forces them out of autopilot. It makes the unconscious conscious. And it dramatically reduces mistakes by up to 85% in some cases.
So how do we use that for habits?
You can use it to become more aware of your current habits, especially the bad ones. If you're about to mindlessly grab a cookie, you could say out loud, I'm reaching for this cookie, but I don't need it, and eating it will make me feel sluggish later.
Verbalizing the action and the consequence makes you pause and think.
Exactly. It raises awareness, makes the cue and its outcome obvious.
Okay, make it obvious. Got it. But what if the cue is obvious, but the task itself just feels too hard?
Yeah.
Too much effort. That leads us to the third law, right? Make it easy.
Yes, absolutely. Because we are fundamentally driven by the law of least effort, we gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work.
We're naturally lazy.
Or efficient, maybe. But yeah, behavior follows the path of least resistance. So, the goal is simple. Reduce the friction for good habits and increase the friction for bad habits.
Make the good stuff easier to do and the bad stuff harder. How?
A key strategy is priming the environment. Basically, setting up your space to make future actions easier.
Preparing in advance.
Think about it. If you want to eat healthier, chop your vegetables on Sunday for the week ahead. Want to go to the gym in the morning? Lay out your workout clothes the night before.
Removing those little points of friction that can derail you.
Exactly. Like that IT developer example, the guy who resets the room every evening, puts the remote away, folds the blanket, tidies up. Not just cleaning, but preparing for the next intended action, making it the easiest thing to do.
I like that. Setting up your future self for success. What about the flip side? Increasing friction for bad habits.
That's where commitment devices come in.
Ah, the classic concept. Making a choice now that locks you into better behavior later.
Yes. The famous example is Victor Hugo, struggling to finish The Hunchback of Notre Dame against a deadline.
What did he do?
He had his assistant lock away all his clothes, except for a large shawl. He literally couldn't go outside without being indecent.
That's extreme.
It worked. He finished the book. The friction of getting dressed was insurmountable, so writing became the path of least resistance.
Okay, maybe not locking away all our clothes, but what's a modern equivalent?
Think simpler. An outlet timer that automatically cuts power to your Wi-Fi router at 10 p.m.
Ah, so you can't mindlessly scroll late at night unless you actively go and override it.
Right. It adds just enough friction to make you pause and reconsider. Or using software to block distracting websites during work hours. Using smaller plates to eat less. These are all ways to make the undesirable action harder.
Make it easy or make it hard. Got it. Okay, final law. Make it satisfying. This seems tricky because a lot of good habits like saving money or getting fit, the reward is way off in the future.
And that's the core problem. We are wired for immediate gratification. Our ancestors lived in an immediate return environment. Find berries, eat berries, see lion, run. The feedback was instant.
But saving for retirement,
Yeah.
the reward is decades away.
Exactly. Our brains haven't really evolved to prioritize those long-term benefits easily. So we need to find a way to attach some form of immediate satisfaction to the good habits.
How do we manufacture that feeling?
One powerful way is through visual measurement, making your progress visible and tangible. The classic example is the paperclip strategy.
Tell me about that.
There's this young stockbroker, Trent Dersman. Started his day with 2 jars on his desk, one filled with 120 paper clips, the other empty.
Okay.
Every time he made a sales call, he'd move one paper clip from the full jar to the empty jar.
Ah, so he could see his progress throughout the day.
Instantly. Moving that paper clip provided a little hit of satisfaction, a visual proof of accomplishment right then and there. It reinforced the behavior immediately.
Did it work for him?
He apparently built a $5 million book of business, starting from scratch, using that simple method. It works. Whether it's paper clips, crossing items off a list, or using a habit tracker app.
Seeing the streak build up.
Yes, that visual evidence creates immediate satisfaction and reinforces the loop. The key is never break the chain. That visual feedback helps you stay consistent.
Okay, so make it obvious, attractive, which relates to craving, though we didn't detail it as much, easy and satisfying. Those are the pillars. But it still feels like progress can be slow, even invisible sometimes.
Absolutely. And that requires understanding the ice cube analogy.
The ice cube analogy.
Imagine an ice cube sitting in a room. The temperature is slowly rising. 25 degrees, 26, 27, 31 degrees. You're putting energy in, but nothing looks like it's happening. The ice cube is still just sitting there solid.
Right, no visible change.
But then the temperature hits 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or 0 Celsius, and suddenly the ice starts to melt.
That breakthrough point.
Exactly. That breakthrough seems sudden, but it's the result of all the stored energy, all the incremental changes that came before, even when they weren't visible. Habits work the same way. You're building potential, storing energy, often without seeing results for a while.
Until you hit that tipping point.
Yes. So mastery requires patience. You have to persist through that plateau of latent potential, trusting the system.
Which brings us back to the core idea. It's the system, not just the goal. Successful and unsuccessful people often have the same goals, right?
They do. The difference isn't the ambition. It's the quality and consistency of their daily systems, those tiny improvements compounding over time.
So the systems are what drive the results.
Ultimately, yes. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the key thing for listeners to take away and maybe think about?
I think it's useful to consider the idea of decisive moments.
Decisive moment.
Yeah, think about your day. Often the difference between a good day and a bad day, a productive day and an unproductive one, hinges on just a few key choices made at critical forks in the road.
Like choosing the salad or the burger at lunch, deciding to start the report or grab the game controller.
Exactly, those moments. They seem small, but they set the trajectory for the next hour, or even the rest of the day. So the provocative thought is, what single small choice, what decisive moment in your day could you make just a little bit easier, a little more obvious, or a little more satisfying today?
How could you engineer your environment or your routine to nudge yourself in the right direction at that one crucial fork in the road?
Because winning that one small moment, automating that single positive choice, that's how you build a system that eventually leads to remarkable results. Focus on that tiny decisive action.
I hope you liked this video and learned something from it. For more such videos, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. See you soon in the next video. Stay tuned.